Hi, I'm Maddie, back for another writing blog. Right now I'm just doing sprints. I'm paused right now because I forgot to record an intro. Whatever. I'm doing 25-minute sprints. I think this is really just going to record a couple of days of sprints. I did take a little bit of a break from writing in this particular draft because I decided, not really decided, my brain decided for me, which means the same thing. Excuses. Anyway, I basically plotted an entire, not like plotted chapter by chapter, but basically came up with the whole like concept for this contemporary romance, which is not my genre whatsoever. I'm thinking like it could be useful, like the idea anyway could be useful in some sort of fantasy setting, but as it stands right now, it's literally just like the most basic of contemporary romances, which I could still write. I'm really sick of coming up with new ideas whenever I need to finish the book that I'm currently working on. So back to writing and Project Blue Lights. I had to create a new document in Ellipsis because, as a lot of people know, in Ellipsis, whenever you reach a certain word count, it starts to lag a bit. And I got to about like 20 something thousand words and it was like lagging pretty bad. So I moved, which actually works out fine because we're now in the second act. So I basically moved everything that I'm writing now into a separate document for part 2. There should be 3 total parts, equaling to about 90,000 to 100,000 words. So yeah, we are going to continue doing, I think I'm going to do 2 25-minute sprints today. And I will check in when I'm done and we'll discuss. I think I went off the track of my zero draft a bit. Okay, not a bit, a lot. Reading over the chapters that are supposed to be going on, they do not align with the current actions of where I'm at. I knew this would happen. I always do this. I feel like I'm so prepared going into a draft with the zero draft, the plotted chapters, everything, but then something changes my mind and then I steer myself in a different direction. I can salvage this. Okay. I feel like I'm going to end up changing this later, but it's okay because I'm basically pantsing right now trying to figure out a way to fix this issue. I don't know why I do this to myself. I mean, either way, in the clearest sense of the word, I could say I did have a very good image of what this story was going to look like. And I knew that there were going to be some parts that I was going to have to either merge or change into different chapters to make it make sense as a whole. So, am I mad at myself? No, it'll be fine. Because so changes, she didn't use a key for her mission, and he, in the original Zero Draft, by this point, he doesn't really suspect her of much, and in the actual book, he 100% does, but I feel like that raises the tension between the two, because otherwise he'd just be this weird, creepy stalker that's stalking her because he has a thing for her, which I think is kind of weak. So he does suspect her of something at this point. In the initial, the original project, his father sends him off to Mount Selene for a mission, and now he is back at the mountain for a different mission, and it just changes things because there was no mountain mission in the Zero Draft. However, it felt right. So I think in the in the final, I don't think we will be reading this from his perspective, but that's okay because at least I know exactly what happened. So later on in later drafts, I will be able to articulate what happened and its full complexities. Even if I'm getting ahead of myself because even if we do read it from his perspective, it's going to be written way better than this because I'm basically pantsing right now, which is not my favorite thing to do. So yeah, okay, we're just gonna keep going. Oh, my sprint ended. I added 436 words in 25 minutes. I'm gonna take a 5-minute sabbatical. I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, get my thoughts together, and jump back in for a second 25-minute sprint. Okay, so I didn't do another 25-minute sprint last night because got distracted, and also because I was trying to sort out through my Zero Draft the best way to navigate these changes, or if I should just kind of not rewrite the Zero Draft, but fix the bullet points in the beginning so that everything else falls into place. And then I got called to bed by my husband. So yeah. Oh, I don't think I told you guys, but I did end up getting a new laptop. So this will be my working laptop from now on. I do still have the white one. I'm not going to be using that one anymore. I'm going to be using this one, which is really nice because that means I don't have a cracked screen. I am still getting used to the keyboard because this keyboard is more raised than the other one. And also my keyboard at work is kind of flat in that kind of sense. So getting used to it. But overall, pretty happy with the fact that I don't have a cracked screen anymore. But it is about 6 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and try to get another 25-minute sprint, or at least finish the one I started last night. I had 23 minutes left over. Barely even started it whenever I started getting back into it. So that is what I'm going to do. I have my coffee. It looks amazing, honestly. Tastes good too. The dogs are barking. Bye. Saturday, and I have fixed my issue with the not matching with my zero draft, because I remembered how in the beginning I had to kind of merge some plotted chapters or scenes together to make one full chapter. So I had some like blank space, I guess, in the middle. So like the chapter 12 of Darian's chapter, I did kind of have to pants it a bit, but it still fits within the plot. So, and it works a little bit better, in my opinion. So, I worked it into my zero draft, and I have now an updated version of the zero draft where all of the chapters are more accurate from the beginning, because I just kind of went through, short summaried up each chapter and updated it, and then made it fit into the chapter. So now instead of 65 chapters, not 65, sorry. Now instead of, wait, how many chapters did I have before? Okay, instead of 61 chapters, I have 59 chapters plotted. So I really just lost like 2 chapters, which is fine. It's all the same information, it's just reorganized. And I reorganized it to where it's now highlighted per chapter as that's completed. And if it's highlighted, it's verified like that, it is canon. Okay. And then I was also able to put in little brackets inside of my zero draft for each chapter that I've already finished, for notes for my second draft for whenever I get there. Because I love doing this. I always write with the pace that I like feel the story coming to me. So I usually miss a few things. I'm missing a scene or two where I think it would be beneficial. So like in chapter 9, I'd like to add a scene where she actually has this meeting that comes to, with the witches, that comes to this big plan to break into the citadel or the prison. So I want to add that scene in there. So I put that in little brackets. And then in chapter 12, I want to remember to add details of like what the temple looks like to him from the vantage point that he's at. And oh no, I did put quotations of like, because there's one, like in the first chapter, we get her goal for this book that she's aiming towards the entire time. And then in the second chapter is where the inciting incident happens that merges their 2 storylines together to make this book. So I have those 2 in quotations, but I like how I was able to finish updating this zero draft today, because it was really bugging me the other day whenever I was writing it. And I really do like to have like a good idea of what I'm writing in a chapter before I dive into it. And so chapter 12 took me a little bit longer to finish. I think it's about 2,500 words. So it's missing a little bit of detail there. I like my chapters to end up at about 3,000. I mean, it doesn't really matter as long as the message gets across, but I feel like 2,400 for everything that goes on in this chapter is a little thin. So obviously I have notes here for me to add specific detail for certain things, and eventually that'll just put it to the word count that I'm more comfortable with. But yeah, I am heading into chapter 13, which is another Eliana chapter. And this is where a certain somebody comes back into the picture for a brief moment in time. I feel like this specific character is going to be loved by a lot of people if it ever gets to that point. A lot of people already like her from like my writers group, and that's where I'm getting that information from. So I think her moments are going to feel a little bit more special because you only get to see her on specific occasions. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and jump into that chapter, and then I will give you guys an update on that. It is, I don't know if you can see that. It's 1:47 in the morning, And you can probably see, I don't know if you can see like my little pimple patches on my forehead. I'm breaking out. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, bye. Okay, so it's the next morning and I did end up finishing like basically restructuring my zero draft to fit what I have now, and then also started on Eliana's chapter, which is really exciting. I really like her chapter so far. And then yeah, I mean, overall I think this vlog has been pretty productive. You know, I found a mistake, fixed said mistake, and then moved on, which is what you do as a writer 90% of the time. If you enjoyed this vlog, please hit the like button, and if you like me, I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button too. If you did make it to this point in the vlog, I would appreciate it if you could drop a, I'm looking at my salad, so drop a salad emoji in the comments. Okay, bye.
But I'll be on it always, always.